So you define what a weak erection is. Can you now define what a good erection is?
Yeah, so a good erection should be firm,
Okay.
rigid,
Okay.
and ready for penetration.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. If you got one of those, you got nothing to worry about.
Welcome back to another episode of Spilling the Tea with Dr. Hendricks.
And
That
Gabriel.
is me. We're back for more questions, more education. And today we're talking about something that I'm sure people ask you rarely.
Yeah, I never get this question.
Well,
Actually, I talk about erections literally all day,
really?
every day.
Do you?
I do.
Well, not with me.
Well, you're one person. I talk to many people throughout the day.
I did
I
not know we were
do have a
open.
job, so I do work. And in my employment opportunity, I treat men that have erectile dysfunction. So I end up talking about this hundreds of times a day
I didn't know we were open.
for business.
So let's start simple. Can you define what is a weak erection?
Right, so it's going to be different for everyone. But in general, a weak erection means that you're struggling to get enough firmness or rigidity to penetrate for
Right.
successful sexual intercourse. Now, some people will say, even if it's a slight decrease in their abilities, that this is a weak erection.
Right.
Others will say, hey, if it fits, it's fine. So it really depends on who you are, what your interests are, how much you're willing to discuss the topic or even be aware of it yourself. Because most men, if there's any sign of a weakness in our erections, we either avoid it, pretend like it isn't
It's not
going
happening,
on,
yeah.
and hope that it goes away on its own.
Yeah. But then that can lead to other problems like self-esteem, less motivation,
Exactly. Or
anxiety,
anxiety-induced
stress,
erectile
depression.
dysfunction, right? Which is one of the most common cause of ED for young men. So it definitely can snowball if you're noticing this trend continue. And sometimes it's just our brain making it worse.
So you define what a weak erection is. Can you now define what a good erection is?
Yeah. So a good erection should be firm,
Okay.
rigid,
Okay.
and ready for penetration.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. If you got one of those, you got nothing to worry about.
So what counts as a good one?
Well, I guess it depends on who you ask.
True.
Personally, I personally would say a
Personal.
good one lasts at least a certain amount of time. Now, I'm not
Okay.
going to say that specific amount of time because we're all different and I don't want people to assume that my amount of time is their amount of time.
Can you tell me? We're dying to know.
Well, I think you actually already know, but we're going to skip that little portion of this video and just say that in general, you should be satisfied with your erection for it to be a good one. If you are unsatisfied with either how long it lasted, how firm you were, those are issues that you may want to talk about with your doctor because it could be as simple as just anxiety. It could be as simple as maybe taking a little medication before to enhance the experience. And then you can train yourself to get back into the saddle,
Right.
push those thoughts of
Away.
insecurity or low self-esteem or trouble getting an erection away so you can just focus on the prize, which is a firm, powerful erection ready to get the job done.
We're gonna let people in the comments guess what is a good erection for Dr.
Yeah,
Hendricks.
actually, let's let the people in the comments determine how long
It's a
is
good
long
erection.
enough for a good erection.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about size, we're talking about duration.
Duration
Right? So
for a
how
good, yeah.
long of an erection would be considered good? You'd be surprised to know that the average erection only lasts for about 4 to 5 minutes.
Really? So I guess it's not that long.
Yeah, so, we
Adult
consider
video is much longer than 5 minutes.
right, which is also a reason why some people get in their heads or concerned about a very normal ejaculation time.
Right.
That's for another video. But in general, normal erections last for about 4 to 5 minutes before game's over.
And so how can guys actually check their erection strength?
Yes, you can actually go online and
Really?
do something called the erection hardness score,
Wow.
where you will be asked a series of questions and they will help you to determine how strong your erections are. And it's a scale of 1 to 4, 4 being the strongest, 0 or 1 being the not so strongest. And so you can kind of see where do you fall on that spectrum.
Okay.
And it's questions, so you don't have to show any pictures or
Right.
do any diorama.
Right.
You just need to answer really how often are you able to get the erection you're looking for
see.
and keep it.
Just as a matter of reference.
Right.
And it's free.
Yeah, it's kind of like Yelp for your penis. You
Ah,
can leave a review, you can
Right.
find your score.
That's funny. So erections are vulnerable to certain situations?
Absolutely. So if you are changing positions, there are certain positions that are going to make it more difficult for the blood flow, right? Erections are all
Right.
blood flow. If you're
Yes.
distracted by an odor or something that you didn't expect, or, really anything, something on TV, someone calls your name, any sort of
A
distraction,
thought.
yeah, can take you out of it. Stress, of course, can make it difficult for the rocket to even launch. Nonetheless, stay in motion and maintained. So, all these things, mental triggers, physical triggers, can occur that are going to diminish the blood flow, which then leads to a weak erection.
And so, what are the main factors that impact our erections?
Right. So, number one, we're going to say mental health, because if you're anxious or stressed, that's going to be a kill switch to your erection. Then we think of hormones. You need testosterone to support healthy erections and a healthy sex drive. We think of things like diet, exercise,
Right.
smoking, alcohol. So, lifestyle factors are going to be huge as well. Medical conditions like diabetes, cardiovascular disease, these are all going to play a role. And even medications can, in fact,
Wow.
have an impact on our erections, things like
Wow.
specifically blood pressure medicine. So, all these things can come together and make a huge impact in our ability to perform.
Wow. So, overthinking is really the ultimate buzzkill.
Exactly. So even though maybe you're sexually aroused and ready to get into the moment, if there's any mental anguish going on, it can be a kill switch and prevent you from launching into where you're ready to go.
What about hormones? What is the role that hormones play in our erections?
All right, so initially we want to think, how are we going to get aroused? How are we going to have the drive to even want to form an erection? So testosterone is the main key player there. And then testosterone also keeps the tissues of our penis and genitalia healthy and
Hmm.
ready to expand when blood flow is necessary to create the erection. So starting in the brain, ending in the genitals, testosterone is key for the whole erection
I
process.
see. So, testosterone is the morning wood hormone.
Yeah, so if you are waking up in the morning and you are noticing that it is what they call pitching a tent,
I see.
that's because your morning testosterone is supporting your ability to get that blood flow where it needs to be and replenish those tissues. So it is a good indicator that you're usually having healthy amounts of testosterone produced. If you're not seeing morning wood, this could be an indication that you may have low T or
Wow.
something else could be going on.
What about medical conditions? How they affect our erections?
Right. So things like diabetes are going to be a big one that's going to damage not only the blood vessels that are going to lead blood to the genitalia, but also those nerve fibers that we need to support the healthy erection process. Cardiovascular disease, again,
Right.
is going to damage blood flow. Depression, anxiety are going to release stress, which prevents our normal sort of biological processes and all the little kinks and twists that we need for an erection
Right.
to occur. So we want to avoid those things. And if you have them, you want to find appropriate treatment options so you can ensure you're able to maintain your sexual health.
So if your heart is not happy, neither is your penis.
Right. They used to say that having erectile issues was a main indicator that you could have heart problems as well, because the
Wow.
tiny blood vessels in our penis, if they are occluded, you can imagine they're also going to be occluded in the heart. So sometimes they used to say in the old days that if you're having an erectile issue, you may be having a heart attack soon.
Right.
So something to consider, especially if you're older and this is a new symptom for you.
So if I did a test and my erections are weak, what point should I look for a doctor?
Right. So if your erections are bothering you even before you take the test, that's reason enough to talk to a doctor, right? If
Right.
there is an issue occurring and you want some help, go ahead and speak with someone who is well versed in the area of sexual health so they can get you feeling better and whatever sort of treatment modality looks good to you. There are things like, physical or mental therapy. You consider medications, you can consider lifestyle changes. Everything is on the table in regards to getting those erections back to where they need to be.
So let's talk about solutions. What can we do to make our erections better?
Right. So we need to find out what the main problem is first, right? So if it's anxiety or depression, things like erectile dysfunction medications like Viagra or Cialis can be really beneficial to retrain your brain that you
Right.
actually know what you're doing, right? It's not a piping issue. Your organ is working fine. It's all in your head. So if you're able to take something like sildenafil or tadalafil before sex, and you can proceed in confidence knowing that the medication is going to help you achieve and maintain that erection, you may then get more confidence in the future knowing that your body can do that process with or without the medication. So that's an option to consider. It really depends also on who you are and what you're experiencing, and your doctor is going to be able to determine what's going to be the best option for you.
What about gas station boosters? Do they really work?
Right, so some of those gas station boosters may work because they actually have ingredients like prescription medication in them. Many of those gas station erection medications actually get pulled off the market from time to time because they're contaminated with
Wow,
lead or other chemicals, but oftentimes they also contain prescription medicine that you're not being screened for
that's
adequately.
crazy.
So maybe be, a little
Cautious.
cautious about those gas station remedies, and now you can talk to a doctor easily online. There's so many medication companies or men's health companies out there that you can literally send a message to a doctor, tell them your concerns, and get treated from your doorstep. So, something to consider. There's a lot of the nervousness or anxiety about talking with these issues because you're able to just text or talk over the phone with a provider. So, do some research online if this is an issue for you so you can get yourself back in check.
What about a better lifestyle? What about a healthier lifestyle? Does that matter when you want better erections?
Yeah, so the best thing you can start today is cardiovascular activity. So by moving that heart rate, bringing that blood flow into the genitalia, replenishing those tissues regularly with blood flow, that is a great first step to get your erections back to where they used to be. And that includes men aged 18 to 100. So always starting a cardiovascular activity, if you're healthy enough to do so, is a great way to start improving erections.
So broccoli, cardio, and sleep are Viagra.
Yeah, in a nutshell, I mean, consistently, yes, they can have as much potency as Viagra.
All right, time for some myths and misconceptions. And I think
Right.
the first one you already responded, but let's talk about it one more time. Only older men suffer from weak erections.
Unfortunately, weak erections can happen to any man at any age. So there's different reasons for why this would occur. And certainly the reasons for an older man are going to be different than the reasons for a younger man, but it can happen to anyone. So if this is happening to you, talk to a doctor, get yourself treated so you can get yourself back to having happy, healthy erections.
If I have morning wood, I definitely don't have ED,
Well, morning wood is a good indication that your hormones are in check
right?
and likely doing what they're supposed to do, but that
True.
doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to have issues with erections when it's game day, right? The
Mm,
stress and anxiety of being
right.
with your partner, time to perform, can be a major culprit for why people have ED. So just because you have normal morning erections doesn't mean that you're going to be able to use those erections when you need them most.
So the night shift and the day shift don't always match.
Exactly.
Viagra guarantees perfect erections.
Unfortunately, that is also not true.
Mm,
Viagra can work for many men, and it can be a very substantial improvement in the ability to achieve and maintain an erection for many men. But there's some that have erectile dysfunction that is severe enough to where Viagra is not beneficial. Viagra only lasts for 4 hours as well. So if you're taking the medicine thinking you're going to have a date and the date goes longer than expected, if it's 5 or 6 hours later, it's no longer effective. You also need to be aware that if you consume Viagra with food, it's going to make it much less effective. So there are limitations to these ED meds.
it's not a magic blue wand.
Right, unfortunately. There's
Yeah.
no magic in medicine. It's just the way it is.
If you suffer from weaker erections once, that means you're gonna have erectile dysfunction forever.
No. So you can regain the confidence that you need to get yourself back focused on creating normal, healthy erections. You can start taking ED medication to improve the blood flow in combination with diet and exercise. There are many different ways that you can improve your natural ability to form and maintain an erection, but ED meds can be a great sort of segue into
Right.
getting there.
Weak erections mean you're less of a man.
No, that has nothing to do with your manhood or masculinity or femininity for that matter. Erections are all due to blood flow, nerve fibers, hormones, and our mental health. So, nothing to do with how manly you are.
So masculinity is not measured by firmness,
Well, no,
because I'm a man.
because I'm a
We haven't
man.
said that in a while.
We haven't
In
said
the
that
last
in a
two
while.
videos,
You know,
probably.
I gotta pick it up. This is our slogan.
I wonder if someone is catching the slogan.
Let's see. Leave us a comment
Yeah,
in the comments below if you know what we're talking about when we say I'm a man.
just to see who is actually watching all the videos.
We'll see.
If you are, you belong to the golden circle.
Right.
Those are my questions for today. This was a fun
Wow.
topic.
Great job.
Yeah.
This
Hope
was
people
fun.
out there who are watching those videos are having better sex, are living better, making better choices, and, just being the best version of themselves.
Hey, that's what we can all strive for.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you joined us for another episode.
Yeah, and if you haven't yet, please like this video, share with a friend, comment if you like. Do your thing, subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
And keep watching us, talking about those kind of topics.
Absolutely. We will see you next time.
Yes, thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.